All right, we're here. Welcome to another episode of Versus Mike History. I am your host, Michael History. As always, we got some good people in the building. We got Jamar on the boards, and we got a special guest in the building. How about you introduce yourself?
What's going on, y'all? Sizzy Art to some. Yeah, I go by Jeffrey formerly.
Word. What's good, my guy? How you doing today?
Chilling.
Thank you for coming into the show today. You my first artist on the show. So we're just going to get into some, regular shit. But let's just get started with how long have you been an artist?
I guess how long have I been an artist? Like self-proclaimed artist. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, nobody really ever gave me the title yet. You know, I ain't graduate from nothing to be like a. But I'll say like since 2015 is when I really dived into like being like honing that title. You know,
Right.
Like doing my own art, selling it for myself, like making my own money for it. This is what I think an artist could be. You know, so
Yeah.
I say like 2015.
And like, what made you pursue it in the first place? Like,
like all honesty, I just knew that was the one field where you can control everything.
Right.
You know, like it's like I could say I was an artist at like 5 years old. You know, and it was official. You know, it's like no one ever can control that title. So I was like, yeah, I think that's.
Now that's dope. That's funny too because like when I first started getting into media, digital media, and like digital design and stuff like that, I always had the conflict in my head of like, am I an artist or am I a designer?
Right.
And I was like, yo, what even differentiates the two?
Yeah. Right.
And so when it comes down to you and like your branding and stuff like that, like what do you think comes down to like the difference between the two?
Well, as I'm growing with the brand, I'm starting to figure out there's more positions to be played, so there's more names to take on.
Right.
It's like now I'm grabbing the camera and now I'm a photographer. People are like, yo, you do headshots? And I'm like, I do some headshots. You know? And then
I could do that for you.
Yeah, I'm pressing record, and now I'm a videographer. So it's like I try to call myself a jack of all trades when I'm in, in this,
Renaissance man. It's the 20s.
But the artist title is kind of all encompassing, and I definitely stick by that first off. But I definitely like calling myself a designer, a
me
fashion
too.
designer. Most definitely. Definitely designer, entrepreneur.
Right.
Brand ambassador if I have to. It's like I'm just taking them on.
Producer.
Right.
Yeah.
Seeing how they fit me.
Right.
But definitely, if I could stick to one, it'd be the artist.
So, who would you say inspires your work, or like at the very least when you first started up until now?
Let's see. Oh, I really like Childish Gambino.
Okay.
I mean, he's cool. He's just like the things he does. It's like a lot of different aspects of art and creativity and stuff like that. I mean, he went from like being a comedian to a rapper to a TV show, personality. So I mean, I put him up there sometimes, and it's a couple other guys. I definitely dig Frank Ocean.
Right.
I like the flow he got. It's a lot of attitude towards the way he carries himself. It's like go missing for like 2 years, come back with some exclusive shit. So those two guys definitely I hold them to a level that I compare myself to.
Word. And how would you describe your artwork? Because I see like it's I see your collage work, and it looks like a lot of world building. And I think that's really dope.
Yeah, definitely. I would call it. I definitely like the word esoteric. I don't know where I got that from, but it's like mad trippy. You know what I'm saying? It's like out of this world kind of stuff. Futuristic, surreal, very colorful, fun. Yeah, definitely. The collage stuff definitely gives me the time and space to like be like a god on earth, just like building things and like going real deep. I started doing collage like around 2015, 2014 and stuff, and it gave me the ability to do art fast because I'm like fast paced with most of my things. So I was like, yo, how can I make this image come to life right now without painting it? I'm like, let me just take this piece that I already see somewhere else and bring it right here. Like, let me take another piece and bring it over here. And I'm like, oh, so I'm collaging. And I'm like, that seems like my style, so.
Yeah, that's how I feel about graphic design.
Yeah.
Especially like when I first got started, because I would just like, I wasn't like the biggest. I wouldn't say I was the biggest artist in the world. Yeah. So like I was big on like pop culture.
Yeah.
So I would just like pull images off the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just like tweak it and like.
Word.
I remember like this, like there was I was working with Mac McCrae. Shout out to Mac.
Oh yeah, that's the boy.
Yeah, and he wanted me to do some artwork for him for the song he had called New Kanye. Right. And it was like around the time where he had Kanye had done the in studio. I think it was with the guy from Apple. I forget the interview his name, but it was the interview where he was talking about Heidi Slimane, and he was he was on 10 like around around the Yeezus era. So I just pulled that image off and like I just coded it in red, and like it came out so fire, bro. Like,
and then that's the misconception with art is like that's being an artist too, you know, it's like taking stuff and making your own out of it.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I got a lot of flack when I did collage because I was just taking whole pieces of like you know, like where the wild things are and like putting them in the city or something, like having them walk across the street. People will come up to me like, yo, that's copyright infringement. And I'm like, so at what point am I doing, you know, my own art versus like taking someone else's art? But I started to research collaging and stuff like that, and it's kind of just like you support it yourself, and you know, I mean, if it doesn't get to the point of being like sued or anything, he's like, all right, I'm you know, I'm an artist, you know. It's people out here that copy Mickey Mouse, you know, and put things behind it and sell it on in Times Square, and it's like no one ever comes on them, you know.
Yeah, it's weird too because it's like these huge brands collab with each other all the time. So it's not like these companies don't have the idea to do these ideas. It's just that there's all this legal shit behind it.
Yeah, most definitely. And when you're on the underground, it's like, you know, how am I seen?
Yeah,
am I being seen?
I'm not a fucking businessman. Like, how the fuck? Like,
Kanye ain't email you like, yo, using my image,
using
my face.
I'm supposed to stifle my art because of
what?
Like,
but definitely collaging is kind of tricky. You know? Word.
So, what would you say? How would you say your community has influenced your art?
Well, definitely with that whole world building. Like, I love my town. I love towns that I see. I love places that I go. But my community, in a sense, is like filled with just different stories. Like, you know, abandoned buildings to like infrastructures that hold so much creative style. So just trying to replicate that, you know, like. Like the hood for me is like a jungle, you know. So putting like a building next to a real big tree or something, it's like the urban jungle, you know. To articulate that in like a fantasy kind of way, it's like, you know, the community. It definitely inspires what I create by just thinking about what it could be, you know. So it's like that's just not the block anymore, you know. That's like a war zone. So how do I take my block and make it look like a war zone, you know? So the community is always breathing. It's always telling stories and stuff like that. So,
would you say that you're getting the support that you're looking for?
Not so much. Right now, it's definitely picking up because I'm standing behind it myself, you know. But I mean, before it was like something very odd. Yeah, like nobody really understood it. Like, yeah. It was like it was cool, but they didn't know. Why it was cool, you know. So aside from being an artist, you got to support your art, you know, and let them know.
Absolutely.
Word. So.
What would you that's interesting that you say that because I was curious to know how did you start getting into spaces like the Newark Museum of Art, where like you're doing these paint offs and you know, collaborations and stuff like that.
Word, definitely. Shout out to the Newark Museum. That just came with like hard work, man. Just like trying to be on the scene, like trying to be seen, like. Because there's a lot of artists that get those opportunities immediately. And it's like because I guess they hold a certain style or they know certain people. But I'm like, yo, I think I deserve to be seen. You know, it's like I got some hot shit out here too. Like, so what do I have to do to be in that light of the right people? So like the Newark Arts Council and stuff is starting to like recognize my work. And it ain't because I switched my style to like oil painting or, you know, like regular canvas stuff. Is just because I stood behind it and I put it in their face, you know. So the Newark Museum, they definitely they invited me to do like the paint off the Nina Simone joint, and you know, I tried to put my own twist on it, but I kept it real general that the crowd could see it and really accept it, just regular painting and stuff like that. But you know, I was still me there. I was
absolutely.
I was still Sizzy. I had my shoes off while I was painting. I was like, yo, I ain't getting these kicks wet, yo. But that was. It's hard to get recognized right now, but you know, you just gotta stand behind your own stuff.
Where I want to stay on the city for a little bit because I've been noticing that the art scene has been like really picking up in the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely.
And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on like these new galleries and studios that are opening up around the city, and like how do you feel they're supporting the artists in the city or lack thereof?
I never like hold anybody to a certain kind of like requirement, you know, like, oh, we built a new gallery, so we got to go reach out to all the underground artists in order to be in the space. It's like, if you want to be seen, you go find out that there's a new gallery, you know? So, I mean, so as far as them being involved with us or be involved with certain artists, you know, it's like they're going to see who's trying to show themselves off also, you know? It's like I had to actually like, I feel like I'm
putting the groundwork.
Yeah, you know, like sometimes I have to go on like norcarts.com, you know, .org and look through the tabs and see that there's open submissions for things, you know? So it's like if other people take that step and be like, all right, how do I get my art here? All right, I'm gonna research. How do I get my art in the Newark Arts Festival? There's actually submission requests, you know? They'd be like, hey, are you a artist between this age and that? Do you want to be seen? And I'm like, all right. I hit the gold mine. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's just research.
Word. Would you say that you have any mentors in terms of your art?
I think about that because I don't want to leave nobody out. Yeah. You know, I don't want to be out here like, nah, man, I did it all on my own. But let me think about that. I mean, there's people that mentor me in different ways. So not as far as my craft. Like that was definitely self-taught, self-established, and stuff like that. But there's like older people in different positions, like that know how to write grants and stuff, and know how to, you know, shake hands with people and put people in different situations. I definitely have a lot of mentors or people I reach out to. Yeah. You know, I don't have one solid like teacher.
More professional mentors and artistic mentors.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I don't think I have a professional one. Or I mean, it's just people I reach out to. You know? Yeah. I don't really like to. I guess relationships are hard.
Yeah. You don't like to label them. Nah,
yeah, definitely. I know my father's a big one. My father's definitely a big one. Where he's definitely. I reach out to him in a lot of areas. You know, it's like, yo, he just understands a lot. You know, I guess as a growing man. You know, he good. Yeah, I think that's good.
So let's talk about Black Boy Joy, man. Like
word. Shout out to Brand.
I want to know everything, like how to get started, like I like the concept of the design on the hoodies and the shirts and the pants.
Word. Definitely. Black Boy Joy. It came through a process of growth, man. I think it happened around 2016. Right. A good friend of mine, I was figuring out a way to like make myself not even myself, but to support myself, to stand behind something. You know, it's like you could be in a gang or you could be in a fraternity or anything like that, but you know what do I have? You know, I'm not gang related and I didn't go to college too much, so I'm like, I need something to stand behind, and I know a lot of other kids need something to stand behind also. So around 2016, as I was doing my art, I realized, all right, let's shift gears to creating a platform that people that felt like me at that time could like attach to. So the name started with a name. I'm like, I need something. It can't be Sizzy. It can't be Sizzy Art. You know, Sizzy Art Community or something. Yeah. I'm like, that's too like just me. You know, so I'm like, all right. I think around the time that not Temptations, the New Edition movie came out. Okay. And then everybody was on the internet. Black Boy Joy. How do you show your Black Boy Joy? I'm happy. And it was just taking off. And I'm like, you know what? This is a phrase. Yeah. So I'm like, let me take that. Yeah. I'm like, let me just run with that for a second and like do stuff with it. You know, other people were doing stuff with it, but I'm like, they're not going to go as hard as what I'm thinking about. So I was like, all right, Black Boy Joy. I'm going to just keep saying that in my mind, you know, and let's see what that could create. After that came the fact of an idea. I'm like, all right, what is it? You know, like what do people want to see when they see that? You know, they're going to see people be happy. They're going to see, you know, the joy of a boy or whatever. I'm like, all right, let's create a visual. You know, I'm like, we need something that people can attach to, like Apple and the Apple logo. You know, you see that on everything. You're like, all right, I could trust that. You know, so I started hitting up the Newark Print Shop. Shout out to Newark Print Shop. Yeah, they taught me how to screen print. and I was like, all right, that's a way to get an image on a material, you know, and I can start rocking it, throwing it around. It's like the fact of an idea is something that, you know, we all have, you know, and when you feed it, it becomes like,
it becomes bigger than you.
yeah, you know. So I'm like, all right, I have to just start the fire and let the spark grow, you know.
Word.
So I started making shirts. I came up with the concept feelings come, feelings go, and you know that held its own on the way too. It was like it started to establish a way of thinking, you know, like, all right, I don't want to hold on to this anymore, you know, let it go, you know, like, and then and that's the thing with building a brand. I'm still fresh with it, but it's growing as I'm growing, you know. I'm even learning to let go of my feelings. I'm not out here just preaching it, but you know, a lot of stuff is just it's growing, and I'm shaping it into a more of a of a idea, you know. But
what was the ideas that what were the ideas that came into play when you decided to do the photo shoots for the brand?
Yeah, that was another way of helping people like attach to something.
Because it seemed like really like wholesome and like really positive energy in the studio. And shout out to Keith for getting them images.
Yeah, definitely. Keith is a good photographer. I met him in East Orange. I did some work over there, and then we just grew. But I reached out to him. That's like my second or third photo shoot, and that was a real big one. It was like, that's when I realized people just like having fun at these things.
Yeah.
Because first I wanted to like get models together and you know, let them be seen and have the coolest kids and stuff.
Right.
But then people started reaching out to me. Like they started realizing that, oh, this kid is looking for other people to be a part of his thing, and I was like, all right, there's a lot of kids that don't usually get seen in photo shoots, you know, like a lot of kids that don't fit the quote unquote, like, you know, image, you know, like, oh, they're not hot or sexy or cute, you know, they're not the number one choice. So I'm like, all right, come over here, you know, let's put you in my shoot. But yeah, once those shoots started coming about, everyone starts to talk and they start to laugh and dance together and stuff, and it's just like, all right, it's more of a party, it's more of a get together, you know, and we're just taking pictures. We're being beautiful, you know. So it's just a way to let people feel supported, you know. Instead, it's a lot of self-conscious kids out there, you know, that don't like features about themselves, and I'm like, you need to be seen, you know, and you could be seen wearing something that other people like too, you know. So it's like, come on this side, you know. Word.
So you're like me, where you got your hand in like 1,000 things.
Most
like,
definitely.
You're doing pictures, videos. You're doing your brand. You got your art. What would you say that Black Boy Joy is like the central focus in your life, or would you say that you're kind of like gearing down to be more committed to your art?
I think right now Black Boy Joy is the central focus.
Okay.
Because even once that gets like to the point in which you know, I'm comfortable, I know it will help support my art too.
Yeah,
you know,
and
it's
it'll
like
open up a whole bunch of doors.
Yeah, it's like, because in the beginning when I first started my website, it's under construction now and all of that, but I reached out to a lot of different artists I knew, photographers I known, and I'm like, yo, let me use you as the catalyst. Let me put you on the website as a photographer. Let me put this guy on the website as an artist, you know. And I had like a kid from New York. I had my other dude from New York, and he was a videographer. And I'm just like, I could have easily been on there and put myself as an artist too, you know, a visual artist, and it would have been because a lot of people don't know, a lot of people don't have websites. They can't afford websites. So I'm like, let me make a spot for all of you to come to, and you know, annually I'll update it, and there'll be new artists and stuff like that. So I know Black Boy Joy is something that a lot of people can stand behind, and it's something that I wish, you know, a platform that I want to stand behind myself. So I'm gonna keep building that up, and sooner or later I'll mix my art in there too.
So what are your goals in terms of the brand for like 2020 and beyond?
I just want to get it seen more. Just want like more recognition, like put it in the right spots so people could like, you know, recognize it. I got a lot of crazy ideas. I want to make a movie, man.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I want to make like real visuals, like some real like 1 minute long commercials type thing, and like just real trippy kind of like sights, you know. I mean, just going back to like the Childish Gambino stuff. There's a short film he has on YouTube, Clapping for the Wrong Reasons. I don't know if you've seen that, but It has a nice vibe.
Not sure I have.
Yeah. It's like it's just about him and his group, like his music group, in like a condo kind of thing, like Cali or whatever. But there's like this chick that just walks around and no one knows who she is. It's like she's a constant through the video while he's like going through his endeavors. He's rapping with like Flying Lotus and stuff. But just like those kind of visuals, I want to do something like that, but under the Black Boy Joy name, so people could like Runaway, Kanye Runaway. Something like that. That was real cool to me. You know, that was trippy. It was like a phoenix, a chick with feathers.
First album in film form.
Word, you know what I'm saying? So something like that, just making a real work of art. I want to make works of art, but under the Black Boy Joy name that people could just like attach to and really appreciate.
Word, that's dope.
Definitely.
Yo, speaking of that, have you seen that the Mos Def exhibit
Nah.
in the Brooklyn Museum?
Where's that at? Oh, well, Brooklyn Museum. But
Yeah. He released an album that he made in like 2015, I think.
Oh, all right.
And you can only listen to it in the museum,
You can
right?
only listen to it there.
Stuff like that.
I went like
word?
Yeah, I went back in November, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And you walk in, they give you a pair of headphones.
Yeah.
They take your phone, they lock it in this thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't do
Exclusive.
shit with your phone. Yeah, it's super exclusive. You got to buy tickets.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
And the headphones just play the album from start to finish.
Yeah.
And then there's art on the walls. He actually contributed to the art also. He released it I think he released the exhibit in Shanghai like 3 years ago. He's been moving it around the world, so now it finally came to Brooklyn. Yeah, and I think he might have taken it to Art Basel. I'm not sure.
Word. I like things like
dope,
that.
Though. It was real dope. Yeah, that reminded me of the shit you were just saying. Reminded me of that.
Word, because it's like we get one shot to like make something hot. Well, not one shot. You get a couple shots, but you want to keep doing them. So, I want to take all of my shots and make some good art. Yeah, definitely. Who's another artist or a thing like that I'm appreciating? I mean, because like going back to the Frank Ocean thing, when he did his dual album, he did the Endless joint,
and then Blonde,
so little tactics like that, like you can only get it somewhere or before it goes away. Like I think he released the vinyls of that album. I think either Endless or Blonde, and it was like sold on his website, exclusively and stuff like that. So I mean that kind of inspired me to do like one of ones and stuff. Like I'll print on like jumpers or something, and only sell one of it. And it's like all right, you gotta get that. You want that.
Like that Wu-Tang album.
Oh, what's
the one they sold for like $5 million.
That's, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, right?
Shit, I don't even know.
Yeah,
if that was
I think that was the one. The one that was
Martin Shkreli bought it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The guy who remember the guy who drove up the price of that drug, like 800%.
Oh shoot!
It was like what was the drug for? It was like cancer or something.
Yeah, it was like
it was a cheap ass drug, and then in one day, like he took the price of it from like this really cheap price, like a few dollars, to like. He charging people like $900 for it.
Oh shit!
He drove it up
he's in jail right now for that.
Yeah, he drove it up like 1,200%.
Exclusiveness, man. I'm telling you, exclusiveness.
Yeah, he's in jail right now.
It works, yo. Well, that not in the drug standpoint, but
But yeah, no. I mean, I definitely understand the idea and the goal of trying to create something that's timeless and even something that like can reach everyone, and even something that like is considered art.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like. A lot of the time, people don't really consider their work to be like people will say like, "Oh, I'm sensitive about my art. Like this is art." But like when you start like taking your craft and your work to another level, then people like or to a different level of seriousness, then people start to like, all right, well, who does this person think they are? Yada yada yada. And it reminds me of Chappelle. Yeah, and his big comeback, because I was just watching his acceptance speech, because he accepted he got an award at the Kennedy Center for his comedy, and he was just talking about how like the people who are comedians and the people who say like whatever they want to say in comedy aren't the bad people. It's the audience. It's the audience, because
how they react.
Because of how you're trying to stifle it. And he was like, yo, like he said, it's people that he smoked with and drank with, and like they've gotten on stage and they do like a bit and that like it's like racist.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, like that's how they really are in real life.
Word.
Like y'all are laughing because it's comedy, but that's how they really are. He said, but like he can sit down and like have a real conversation about like real life things with that type of person.
Yeah.
Because of the opportunity of being able to say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And having an open mind rather than being somebody who has to sit and be stifled by like the rules of society or whatever.
Yeah, most definitely. Like when you start to become 100% confident and comfortable with yourself, like it gives you some kind of liberation. You know, it's like I don't care. You know, I don't care what y'all would say, but at some point you gotta care.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the world has to react to it, and you don't want to come off crazy, but you want to remain yourself. You know, so like Chappelle, you know, like he's at a point where he can say what a lot of shit that he wants to say, and you know, a lot of people accept it because we're used to it now. We're used to Chappelle being Chappelle, so like now me, I'm comfortable and confident with everything I want to say, but a lot of people aren't used to me yet, you know. So do I stop being me a little bit and feed them, you know? Or do I just go all out, you know?
Well, here's the thing about that. I mean, I think that everybody should have the opportunity to say whatever they want. Should they get glorified for it? Should they be put on a pedestal for it? Absolutely not. Because everybody's take isn't a good take.
Most definitely.
Or even an important take. But you should be able to have your opinion on something.
Yeah,
like you should be able to form your own opinion on it. Like everybody is born equal.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, like you have the right to feel how you feel or think how you think.
Yeah.
But like, should it be put on a platform? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But like, hey, like, and that's why I fuck with Black Boy Joy really, because
appreciate it.
More so than it like. More so than the message, even the branding is like real raw. Like you screen print, the wording onto your clothes. It's
appreciate it.
It's real raw, and it's like, all right, so this is like this is not something where it's like
cookie cutter.
Cookie cutter. And no offense to like the people who do this, but like the people who have like the flower crowns, and the people and like the boys with like the flowers in their hair and shit like that. And it's like, and I'm not like knocking that at all. It's no knock to that. There's no knock to that at all. It's just that like it's like, yo, that everybody's definition of masculinity is different. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't have to be more feminine to express yourself as a man.
Most definitely.
But you know,
and then even like just Black Boy Joy in general, I get a lot of flack from my white friends, man. It's like I wasn't even thinking that far because I'm cool, you know. Like I really wasn't with the whole.
You're a man of the people.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like I got Portuguese friends, I got like Asian friends, and I'm like, damn, now they can't relate to Black Boy Joy. So I really looked at
when in reality they really can. It's just that they can't they can't look past the black part.
Word, I got people I work with, and they're like, oh, you know, I don't feel comfortable wearing that, you know, like wearing a Black Boy Joy shirt. So they're like, maybe you should take the Black Boy part out of it and just leave the, you know, the concept, feelings come, feelings go. And I'm like, I'm like, that's the brand, that's the website and everything. But I kind of look at it as kids of different color, you know, like say us three in here, you were blue, you were red, and I was black. You know, it's like, at that point, it ain't racist. You know, it's like we're all just different colors, you know? Like, so it's like the joy of this boy, the outcasted boy, you know? It just so happens that the black boy is the one that's outcasted, the one. So it's like, it's a journey of him trying to find his joy. So with things like that, it's, you know, I could make a story out of that, you know? So that's where my mind goes. It's like how to dwell on this concept of the joy of the black boy, you know? It's like, who is this black boy? He's not just the African American kid, but he's a kid that's been outcasted.
Right.
He's like the ugly duckling or the black swan. You know, that's where it kind of more drives to. But in this generation right now, everything is like Black Lives Matter and pro this, pro that. I'm like, all right, I get a lot of support in that community, but I'm like, when I ask
it's not necessarily that lane. Like,
word, most definitely. And I'm like, all right, how do I shift gears and make it universal, you know? But so that comes with practice and that comes with growth. But
everything ain't universal though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
That's a fact.
That's true too. And it's like
can't let them strip it.
I'm trying to and that's the thing too. I don't want to take away from the community that this does attach to, you know, if it is like my Newark family and, you know, people, because really Black Boy Joy is to motivate, inspire, and encourage children in urban areas, you know, Philly, New York, Baltimore, anywhere, you know, it's like, if that's who it connects to and those kids are kids of color, you know, then that's where it's going. But it's for everyone to build, you know?
Yeah.
But I just don't want to be so generic that it seems like a battle and I'm choosing sides of like, oh, this versus white people, you know? Because I got a lot of cool Caucasian friends too, you know, and they'll buy this stuff in a heartbeat. Word. They'll support it, they'll wear it, and they're just as active as us. That's it. But
and it's so crazy that people like think that like, oh, you have to strip your brand of its blackness in order for them to appeal, for it to appeal to them more. Because it's like, yo, like, you're black. So it's like, why would I change the narrative of my brand in order to make you feel more comfortable? You should be able to relate to it because you're cool with me and you understand where I come from. And,
most definitely.
You know what I mean? Like, and then like being black never stopped you from being my people's. So why the fuck do I have to strip my brand of its blackness for you
most
to
definitely
relate to it?
I do hear that. And that's like an ongoing battle with this thing right now. It's like, and that makes me happy because I'm like, all right, maybe I chose the strongest subject to create, you know. But
you just gotta stand your ground in it. That's
most
all.
Definitely, because there's other, you know, and I got it on my car. I got it like posted on the back of my car. I got it like vinyl and stuff. And it's like people always be like, oh, you're a target now, you know. And when the cops see you driving, they know it's a black boy in the car, but it says Black Boy Joy on the back of the car. And surprisingly, I never got stopped since I put it on.
They probably know if they look through the window too. So,
right, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's like I'm black regardless. I'm black however you see it, but people got their own take on everything, man.
And people, it's almost as if in this era, people want you to be scared or like worried. To be black, like
most definitely.
Like I couldn't tell you how many conversations I had with my dad, because my dad is a retired police officer, but I couldn't tell you how many conversations I had with my dad where he was like, yo, you know, the laws, with all the shit in the news, like, yo, the laws ain't fair, but you know, you just gotta make sure you do what you make sure you have to make sure you're doing what you have to do to stay out of trouble. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's like complying with the yada yada yada. I'm like, yo, like, I understand because you're looking out for my safety first and foremost, but it's like you're almost telling me not to be me in order to survive. And it's sad that we have to even have this conversation.
Yeah, most definitely. We definitely get put on kind of like a chopping block, you know, and it's like we got to be careful. And that's the it's so unencouraging. It's like, man, I didn't ask to have all this weight on me, you know? Like my nephew right now, he doesn't know the difference between, you know, race right now, you know, like his friends are his friends and stuff. But once he starts to experience those things from being just black, it's like you wish you could just be, you know, you wish you could just be a color. And that's why I say like red, blue, black, or, you know, it's like you're just your color, you know. But we got these battles that we ain't asked for, and, you know, we could choose to support them and do our part in it. And I do also, you know, do my part as far as like, you know, supporting my community engagement. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of kids out there that, you know, of the minority diaspora that's like, you know, unsupplied, you know, they're like, they don't have the same resources as far as art, because it started with the art and stuff like that, you know, and I'm noticing like I'm doing art in the park and stuff like that, and it's a lot of like homeless kids, and you know, the shelter's right next to the park, and I'm like, all right, you need to talk, you like, you need therapy, you don't need art, you know, art in the park. So I started turning my programs into like art therapy sessions, you know, where I'm just like, yo, what's happening in the house, you know, or like, how do you like paint what's going on in your mind, you know, and you know, as I see that most of the people in my neighborhood are like me, you know, that's when I realized, all right, we need help, you know? We need help, and we need people that's willing to help us.
And it's a weird spectrum, too, because it's like, if you are too happy, then it's like the question of your sexuality is brought up. But if you're too angry, then it's like you're a villain. Like,
most definitely.
Or like Hillary Clinton phrase that you're a super predator.
Super predator, yo. That's because that's really like, what the it's like, how are we
it's no walking that back. Like, you really can't walk that back.
Most definitely. It's like, and that stuff, that stuff goes, like it makes it into homes of people, you know, and it's like now I'm looked at as a villain, like a person that can attack you in a night scene or something like that. But definitely, you know, we gotta be strong. That's all it is. Just be strong and you know, don't take no shit.
All right, well, I guess that's it. You know, that was a nice little.
Yeah, that was. I like that.
Yeah. How about you go ahead and plug your social media?
Right now, I'm personally under Sizzy Art, SIZZYART. The brand could be found under blackboyjoy.net. That's BlackBoyJoy.net. That was type long, but it's just blackboyjoy.net, but the dot is DOT. So yeah, you can find everything through that, and you know, stay in tune, stay supportive.
Word.
Definitely.
And as always, you can catch me on Twitter at Mike History. Catch me on Instagram at Last Name History. Catch the podcast on Instagram at Versus Mike History, and catch the podcast on Twitter at Versus MH. And if you want to, you know, ask any questions on the show or have any questions about the series, cool. My email will be in the description of the show. And Sizzy, thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate it. This was a nice little conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me, man. It was interesting. I was excited, but definitely.
All right, man. We're getting out of here.
Word.
All right.